Good morning, podcast community. Let me get Rich in here. Yeah. We have in the studio a local favorite. Everybody knows Rich. And so let me get you centered here, really. And so Rich, we thank you for coming into the studio. He made it through the security and he's in the studio. So, Rich, tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and who you serve. Then we'll get into our podcast.
Okay. Well, good morning. Thanks for having me. Rich Biro with Blue Tree Advantage. We provide virtual bookkeeping and accounting for small businesses. So we try to do the day-to-day bookkeeping for the client to take it off of their hands. So a lot of times it's small business owners that are just busy in their business and don't have time to do their account, and then they fall behind. And so we like to get them up to date so they know what their business is doing, on a fairly regular basis. You don't want to wait till just tax time to get your taxes done. You need to know how your business is doing. So we try to help them with that and, consult with them and help them understand what the numbers mean.
Well, I've always heard the phrase, you got to know your numbers.
Correct.
And if you don't, you might as well put a blindfold on and make decisions in your business. So exactly. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm really preaching to myself.
Yeah.
So that is not my forte, never has been, but you have to know your numbers. So first, before we get into the discussion about really that part of business, because I think it's critical for cash flow. It's critical for the success of businesses. How did you find yourself in the position to serve small businesses?
Well, I was with a bigger CPA firm, and we did accounting, but it was historical accounting. So clients would give us information, we would process it, it would take time, and then we would, spit out some financial statements for them. But by then, it's already a month to 2 months old, depending. So the accounting industry was turned into real-time accounting and virtual, and all the cloud and all that stuff was going on. And so we had this small business that we started doing that to get to, up to date on accounting practices. And there's just much more value that we could give clients by giving them real-time financials. And so I ended up just going off with this small company and splitting off from the CPA firm, went on my own to service the clients and give them the value that they need, help the smaller ones out that just don't like accounting and just put it off.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my problem, or that's my situation is, you do what you do best and you outsource the rest has always been what we say, but it's not what I do. So tell, when you shift from a CPA firm to your own business, what was that first year like? What was the challenge that you could share with our viewers? You're out on your own, you're creating value, no guaranteed paycheck, you have to make it happen. So what was that like, the pressure and just the mindset you had to have to kind of make that transition?
It was a bit of a transition. I knew I could do it, but you never know what the bumps are you're going to encounter. So one of them being, streamlining to my processes, finding good help. I had some turnover, and then just finding the right help and looking in all avenues where to find someone. And so, and then some transition with some clients that were going in different directions and what have you. So getting through that, and then to kind of get it where my business was streamlined so we could help streamline small businesses accounting. So we got there. So you kind of learn from those mistakes or those troubles and say, all right, what do we need to do to move forward? And then, that way when we're transitioning new clients, it's an easy transition.
Yeah, no, and I'm guessing when you're talking about streamlining, are you talking about processes that you're putting in place that are allowing it to streamline? Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct. I mean, as far as getting the banks connected to the software,
Mhm.
bill pay if that's the service, small payroll, those kind of things where clients aren't doing a lot of work themselves or doing too many spreadsheets to figure things out when you can have the accounting software do it for them and spit
Mhm.
out reports that they can look at. And each company is different, and figuring out what reports do they like to see
Hmm.
and create those reports for them.
Yeah, my partner's a former CPA, and a car accident took him out of the numbers part of it. And he can't do that anymore. So it shifted his mind really into a marketing person. And so, but one thing that he brought with him was that businesses tend to build infrastructure, then go out and get clients. And it's like, if you don't have any clients, you got nothing.
Yeah.
You can have all the websites and all the marketing shiny things, but clients pay your bills.
Correct.
So how did you like? So you're doing your own thing. You have to get clients, and you also have to build out the infrastructure. How did you balance it the first couple of years?
Well, actually, the infrastructure was already there because part of the CPA firm, they had started this company, and then with the other shareholders, they voted me to manage it.
Mhm.
We had a variety of partners, so they volunteered me to manage it. So the infrastructure was there,
Okay.
and we had some clients. So the transition was just going on my own and doing things a little bit differently with who was still on board, and
Mhm.
how we did things. So fortunately, I didn't have to go through a lot of that, but we did some with setting up some clients with QuickBooks, because we also use Sage, which is a more robust
Mhm.
accounting software. It's a financial accounting package. So, if the clients need a little more information out of their numbers,
Mhm.
we could use that software. Or if it's just kind of a basic business, we could just use QuickBooks.
Yeah.
So we started off with using Sage and stuff, and we were looking for clients that were growing too big, and QuickBooks just couldn't handle what they were doing, and then we would transition them to there. But then we realized if we want to grow a little bit bigger, start off with the smaller QuickBooks clients,
Mhm.
and if they're okay with that, they can stay on that, or we can upgrade them to the better package. So that way we're helping more people and gives my employees more work to do.
Yeah. What would you say, like, when you're out there, you know, drumming up business? What could you say to our younger entrepreneurs that are out there? Because and the reason I'm going to ask that question is, the first time I came back, we met at the county state park,
Yeah.
Jim Miller Park, and we were talking, and we were just kind of having good conversation. What was your, like, how did you balance too much of it with just enough? Like, because you can be in
Yeah.
every association till the
Yeah.
cows come home. Like, how was your, like, evaluation of, because everything's an ROI, and
Mhm.
you can be the biggest social club out there and go to every single meeting out there, and there's plenty of them.
Yeah.
So how did you balance that?
So I started out, I said, all right, I got to get out, Mark, and let me pick a couple of networking events and go there and start to meet people. And, then I had the bumps and all that stuff. And I also was doing a closed networking group, and I had to take care of my clients first, my business. And I said, just networking is just too much right now. So I had to cut back. Then once I fixed that, I started going back out more. And yeah, you got to pick which ones you want to go to, what area, because there's so many of them, and then your schedule and what else you have going on to try to find which fits. But I made a commitment that whichever ones I chose, that I was going to try to be regular.
Okay.
because you don't want to be the one and done. I've seen where people come in and try to sell you that first time and then they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
You got to build these relationships. People got to know who you are, get to know who you are and your kind of personality and stuff. And do they want to do business? And
Mm-hmm.
then when you start to do business with each other, then the referrals come. And
Right.
that's where I get a lot of my businesses through referrals.
What would you say, like, to a younger Rich? What is relationship? If you have to take a percentage of your business, what has that meant to you personally, and how can you help our viewers get a better frame for, building relationships?
Put a good value on that. I've met a lot of good people, a lot of good business people, and getting to know who they are. And I find that's valuable in that you just don't want to do business with just anybody. You got to
Mm-hmm.
know kind of who they are, what kind of reputation is. And if you're going to refer someone that you see all the time, they're kind of held accountable because they're going to have to face you the next time you see. So they're going to want to make sure you do good business to your clients. Because if I'm referring someone to a client of mine, that reflects on me.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you're referring the right person.
Mm-hmm.
And with these networkings, by going regularly, you get to know them rather than just, well, I met this one person. Here's your card. I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
That's so I find relationships in the network very important.
Mm-hmm. What do you, as you grow your business, what are you doing, like, each year to, like, take it to the next level? Are you, like, doing anything with particular groups? How do you continue to grow your business?
Well, between the regular networkings and I think this year, trying to get out to a few different new ones.
Mm-hmm.
Sporadically, if you just hit one and figure out if that's a good one to keep, go back to, but not too many where it fills my plate up.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I always like try to do is kind of circle back with some referral partners that I have that,
Mm-hmm.
got one that I really don't see, but we do have a connection. So try to circle back with those kind of things, or someone that I met and they said maybe not right now or whatever, is that it might not be their time now, but it could be in the future. And that's happened to me with a client. Is met with them a few years ago and they weren't ready. And I said, yeah, you don't need my services, but stay in contact. And lo and behold, they called me up and said, yeah, we're ready.
Mm-hmm.
So it might not work out right when you meet them, but it could down the road.
Yeah, I like that's, we call it the long play. I mean, that's just a term, and looking long term, and being relationship driven versus transactional driven. And I know what you're saying is, if the person shows up at an event and they got all their brochures and cards and they start handing them out like candy, and it's like, that's not the kind of thing that you want to do. And I've always thought that if the person wants your information, let them ask. And just my own personal opinion that, we aren't there to sell each other. We're there to build relationships. And relationships isn't like sticking a card in somebody's face every time you meet somebody. Right. And that's where you do see, I think, people that don't understand truly the relationship part of business,
the real purpose of networking, and not just, here, take my card, but then they're not interested in taking your card.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's not about us doing business, it's how we can help each other out to build each other's businesses.
What have you found, because I like the word when you said referral sources, partners, whatever, I think who do you look to partner with that helps you have a good relationship with and have, maybe it's a win-win, but what type of people are you looking for?
Well, anybody that's kind of dealing with business owners, kind of financial stuff. So attorneys, financial planners, you know, all that kind of intertwines is all important for each aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I guess sort of like the three-legged stool, you know. Um, if you're doing certain things on a financial side, well, you need the business accounting numbers. If you're, doing something legal wise, you may need to know, the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the type. I even partner with other accountants, bookkeepers,
Mm-hmm.
because some we have niches in certain areas, and you pick up a client and that's not your niche, so you pass it on, or you don't have. Some are busy and they don't have time for maybe a new client,
Mm-hmm.
or that's not quite what they want to get into. So I've gotten referrals that way, and shoot my way. So we may be competitors, but we compete in different kind of areas within the industry.
Yeah, and it seems like in a lot of my podcasts, people talk about specialization. You see it in the medical community where doctors are specializing. Here at Overture, the average age is 80. And so at breakfast, the conversation is, who are you going to see today? And it's like doctor after doctor after doctor, and most of them are specialists. And so what would you say, have you found a specialty within your business that you found to be more that you can serve them better than others that just need general accounting?
Correct. We do best with service industry. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of professionals, or small service, like, a plumber or electrician or
Mm-hmm.
something, where, on a smaller scale, with that, inventory might not be huge. Restaurants aren't something we want to get into. There's,
Mm-hmm.
it's a difficult one. You really need to know what you're doing in that one and
Mm-hmm.
that service. So, I may get a referral, but if I know it's not something I can handle, if I do happen to meet with them, I could always refer them out to someone else.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. So that works out for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like when I was in West Cobb, we partnered with McEachern because they had a lot of career fairs. And the gentleman there, he's gone on to Osborne High, but he was really driving hard the idea of giving the students a view of careers and really helping them establish. And the trades was a big thing because we want to send everybody to college and give them a couple $100,000 in debt. And then we say, good luck, but yet the trades are sitting there. I need my plumber. I need my electrician. I need my HVAC people. And they're not having enough of those. Are you seeing, like, as baby boomers retire, are there enough people ready to take the reins? Are you seeing some things in your world of dealing with the trades that we don't have a good backfill of talent? Is that something just perception or real?
No, I mean, we just had someone at the ABA lunch talking about the trades and how they're building that up, and you don't need to go to college. They have the trade school and you can get out and they help you with the job or whatever. So, and they're going to schools or whatever. So by partnering like that, kind of educate people more on maybe not college.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you have a career day to see different careers, what people could kind of get an idea of, whoa, that sounds interesting. But I've heard, I don't know if it's still the way, but there's not a lot of trades in the high schools being taught like when I grew up. And no one's teaching the basic financial stuff. So when you get out there, I mean, now the younger kids probably aren't doing checks, but you still need to learn the financial, how to do an electronic check or transfer, wire, balance your budget, and that kind of stuff, what to do, saving for the future. So there's, in other trades or professions, kind of give them an idea of, what's out there.
When you were in high school and college and you're thinking about your career, what drove you to, establishing yourself as a CPA and bookkeeper, accounting, running the numbers? What was in your background that moved you into that direction?
I was just always a numbers guy.
Really?
It really was. And I
Yeah.
think back to when I was younger, we were going on vacation,
Uh-huh.
a month-long vacation through the States, driving through. And I remember having a little notepad marking down where I was spending my money. This is what I started out with. Yeah. So I just kept track. And high school, I had an accounting class, basic accounting class, and liked it. And the guidance counselor asked, hey, time to think about college. We've got a scholarship program for local students. I think you should apply for, but what's your major going to be? I said, I don't know. I said, I like my accounting class. So I went with that and really liked it. That was my best classes were accounting. And so once I decided that, I said, well, if I'm going to do that, then I need to go for my CPA license. And then I thought about being a tax attorney, and because I like law classes, but I said, no, let me just concentrate on the CPA. And then if I decide later, and just never went that route, but I just always liked the numbers and financials.
What would you say? Like, I always love what Bartina was saying. She was going to go see Crystal Duke. She was a speech pathologist up in the Chicago area, and now she came down here to team up with her brother, who's a medical doctor, and she went from a secure job, steady paycheck, to zero. How did you handle that transition? Because you're making a steady paycheck, and then you're all of a sudden off on your own, and if you don't get up and make it happen, you're zero. So, I mean, there's got to be a little bit of pressure there that you have to produce, not just show up. What was it that drove you to get over that hurdle and get to the point where it's not zero, but it's a number that can provide for yourself and your family?
Yeah, well, so I had the base of clients, which helped not to be at zero.
Oh, okay, okay.
But it was a big transition going from a bigger CPA firm to just a small size bookkeeping firm. But I sat down with my wife, we discussed it, she had my support, she supported my decision, and so we said, all right, well, let's see how we can make this work. And so, yes, then you got to get out of bed every day. You got to go to work and make sure your clients are happy.
Yep.
And, through the bumps, it was stressful. And it's like, did I make the right decision? But you just plug away at it, just be determined and say, I don't want to fail. And if you do, then, I could always get back up and do something.
Yeah.
Whether it's still an account, I would never be dead out of the water. So,
yeah.
But I kept plugging away and, got over those hurdles to where the business is running well, just go out there, just keep picking up clients. And, now I have more flexibility. I'm not killing myself during tax season, so a big lifestyle change. And, networking was a little rough for me because I'm not always I was never been like the big extrovert.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of push myself a little, say, you got to go out and meet people. Now I'm kind of more comfortable with it. There's times where, I could feel, holding back, and then I got to remind myself, no, you're networking. You've got to go out and talk to people. They're not going to just come up to you necessarily, and so you can't just kind of hide in the corner. That's not what networking's about.
Yeah.
You got to go out and just introduce to you, and everybody's friendly enough, and we'll talk, and we all, you just have to ask them about their business, and they're happy to tell you about it. and
Yeah.
you learn about a lot of people.
Yeah, I'd never, because I live here at Overture and I don't have TV, I don't have social, I don't have a social life. It's pretty boring, but I realized I was an introvert slash extrovert. I have to charge my batteries and be cognizant of that. But when I'm out, after I have my batteries charged, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I never would have thought that until I realized how much it benefited me to charge the batteries.
Yeah.
And so it kind of, it was weird because, there was a transition in my career that I never would have thought that. I just never would. But I realized, because I always got up early in the morning, and that was my time to charge my batteries. But I just thought, okay, I'm just an early riser. But it was not. It was a charge the batteries, get ready for the day.
Yeah.
And I'll come home after I'm out for a couple hours. I'm drained. I'm just like, it's like you just, and I've talked to other introverts and they say the same thing, that you have to know your personality style. Correct. To know what feeds you, to be able, because you have to be able to recognize that, because if you don't, you're just not going to grow your business, because you could be an introvert, but you still have to get out there and promote. I mean, it's not like you're the face of the business. So you have to be aware of your talents and skills. What would you say, like looking back, how many years have you actually been with Blue, with your own business? How many years has it been?
Since I went on my own.
Yeah.
7.
Okay. So let's take that journey of 7 years. What do you say? Did you get to a point where during those 7 years that you felt like you were getting it and you really got into a rhythm? Was there a moment like that, or was it just, how can our viewers kind of understand that 7-year journey of doing it all, on being on your own?
Yeah, I don't know if there was a time that it hit me. I was like, oh yeah, but it was just a matter of being consistent. I laid out which groups I was going to go to, and kind of was going consistently, where I finally was meeting enough people and meeting the same people and building relationships that it wasn't so hard to go and talk. And then, so if you're talking with someone you're comfortable with, and then you both meet someone new, it's a little easier to talk than it's just one-on-one.
Right.
Then as, time went on, I can talk with people individually, where, so it probably was a couple of years or so before I was getting to that point, and, meeting new people that help you network more and stuff, and doing the closed networking one, it's a smaller group, or doing Morning Jolt, which is a smaller group. You see the benefits of those.
Yeah. No, I agree. My partner, is an introvert, and he loves to connect, but he's knowing his style. He's explained it to me. He's up in Canada, but he tells me, and I now can see, having known him for 6 years, that, he enjoys connecting, but he says, like, if you put me out there in an environment of people where I have to kind of like network face to face, he said, that's not my thing. Because so I think you really have to understand who you are, but you still have to be out there with the vision and the idea of what you want to do. And if you're not communicating that, nobody's going to do it better than the founder, the president, the person behind the business.
Well, we all do outsourcing. We do our main business, and then everything's so outsourced.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, no one's going to care more about your company than yourself.
Yes.
But if you're not going to do it yourself, you got to hire someone to network for you, in addition to marketing and all that. But you're putting it in their hands.
Yeah.
So you'd have to make sure you hire someone good and then oversee what they're doing, and or maybe go out every once in a while to see how they're operating and promoting your business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see it like within personal injury attorneys. I have seen where they hire a community connector.
Yeah.
So I do see that. I don't, I don't see a lot because I think, attorneys in general, they probably, some of them come into our organizations, but some of them hire people too. So I think you just have to figure out what the best model is for you and how can you grow your business. So I want, as we wind down, because I know I told you we wouldn't be here all day. So tell our viewers, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can see on the screen there, the office number is 470-481-0363, or email rich.biro@bluetreeadvantage.com. That's blue without an E, treeadvantage.com.
Well, I usually ask this one question, but I forgot during the regular session. So when you're not crunching numbers and letting people know how their cash flow is working, what do you like to do for fun?
I actually like to look at my own personal cash flow.
That always brings a smile. If it is a positive number. Yes.
Well, like I said, when I was a kid doing those books, so I've always kind of done that for myself and use the software. I find that very important. And then I like to pass that on to, my stepson and his wife, or, went to a party. And so I like discussing with young kids just the importance of that stuff.
Yes.
But other than that, I like to work out, either the gym, or was doing an outdoor workout thing. And so enjoy doing that, or hanging out with my dogs, or riding my motorcycle, working out in the yard, hanging by the pool. It was all,
That's
good.
Yeah, that is good. And I know going to Hawaii occasionally, but that's another podcast for another day. So before I go, so we want people to get a hold of you at this number, but also this is kind of, and you can comment on this, because this was my partner gave me this very recently. Buy back your time. And the first step was hiring an executive assistant, because if you can start doing higher level activities within your job or your position, and you're not checking emails and managing your calendar, this guy, buy back your time. I mean, I've been eating it up for this last week and just learning about it. So we're now helping people to take that plunge, which is, we call it your executive assistant. And we have a way for our outsourced team in the Philippines to really capture people's emails and calendar. So if this is something that of interest to our viewers, get back in touch with us, because we would love to service you, because the higher activities you can do in your business, we call it level up, the better you're going to be. And if you're checking emails and into other people's priorities, it's going to take you away from what you do best. And you always want to do more of what you do best. And so this is an opportunity for you to do that. So just get in touch with us. And I think I have a number here. Yes, I think I do. Yes, right here. podcasterpetecane.com, or call me direct. So thank you so much, Rich. So tell us, as we wind down, what would be the one thing that you would want our viewers to take home from our time on the podcast?
That my tagline is, if accounting is your headache, Blue Tree is your pain relief. So, I mean, if you're just tired of doing your own bookkeeping, reach out to us. I'd be happy to meet with people. I meet with them for coffee or lunch, or even on the phone, just to see what their situation is and advise them either in the direction towards us, or in some other direction, but to make sure that they're doing their best for their bookkeeping. Hopefully it's with Blue Tree, but if not, just I feel good when I can help them out and, solve their problems. And so, it doesn't cost you anything to sit down with me and you could get some answers.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you, Rich, for taking the time to come to Overture, where I know you said a family member used to live. Do you want to?
No, they were looking at maybe living here.
Oh, looking at it. Okay. All right. I misunderstood you, but okay. So thank you so much, Rich, for being a guest on KBA Matters, and that's Kennesaw Business Association. It does matter to plug in and build relationships. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.